All right, welcome back to another episode of Chip Theory. Today we're going to be discussing another mode of the major scale. It's going to be the Mixolydian mode. And the Mixolydian mode is the fifth mode of a major scale, meaning that it's going to begin its first note on the fifth scale degree of the major mode. So, what that is going to result in is a scale that is going to have a flat seventh degree for the Mixolydian mode. So here we have our chips laid out, starting here on C at the left. If you can see, here's two blue chips that are going to be like the black keys on a piano keyboard. And here is a group of three blue chips over here. So here you can see our note C at the far left, all the way chromatically to the note B on the right. So we're going to have C, C sharp or D flat, D, D sharp or E flat, E, F, F sharp or G flat, G, G sharp or A flat, A sharp or B flat, and the B note. That's going to be how our poker chips are laid out right now. You might see the pattern here of between these two, we do not have a blue chip because this is only one half step. This is going to be your E and F note. And here at the right, we have a space here for our octave, the C here, which is going to be between B and C. There is no blue chip as well, so that's going to be one half step. Also, again, we can count in the octave. We have 12 notes that are unique, and if we add a 13th note, this is going to be a duplicate of our C at the far left. So here we have the octave C all the way to C, and if you count these chips, there's going to be 13 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. However, there's only 12 unique notes, so from C to B, there are going to be 12 chips, and from C, including the duplicate C, there's 13, and there's going to be 12 intervals between them. So we're going to have 12 half steps between C and its octave duplicate above C. So we're going to have 12 half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 half steps within one octave from C to C. And that 12 half steps will remain the same no matter what note you begin on. So if you were to begin on this chip and move these down and have a duplicate blue chip, there's going to be 12 half steps between the blue chip and its octave duplicate above as well. So there's 12 half steps in the octave. Now the first thing we want to realize when looking for a Mixolydian mode, and this goes for every Mixolydian mode, is the pattern for Mixolydian modes. And if you've looked at the pattern, you're going to find that it's a whole step, a whole step, a half step, a whole step, a whole step, a half step, and a whole step. So you have this series of whole steps and half steps. You have two whole steps, and then a half step, and then two more whole steps, and then a half step, and then one final half step to its octave. Again, that pattern is going to be the inverse of your Aeolian mode. So if we know our natural minor mode, we might practice our major scales and we might practice the natural minor. The natural minor is going to be that pattern backwards. So if we look at the Mixolydian mode coming down to the left, the pattern is a whole, half, whole, whole, half, whole, whole. Well, that is going to be our Aeolian scale ascending. So if we know our natural minor pattern mode for the Aeolian mode, we know our Mixolydian mode if we can just say it backwards. So if we say our Aeolian, whole, half, whole, half, whole, is Aeolian ascending, we know the Mixolydian by saying the Aeolian descending. So it's whole, half, half, whole. So if we know one, we know both. So we've killed two birds with one stone by knowing our Aeolian mode. So we know our Mixolydian mode because it's just simply the scale backwards, the pattern. So realizing that, we also, the second thing we want to realize here is if the Mixolydian mode is the fifth note of our major scale, it's going to be 7/2 steps above its relative major note. Okay, so it being the fifth of this major scale, to find out its relative major, or the major mode that the Mixolydian mode is derived from, we can simply count down 7/2 steps. So if we move our C up to the top here, we count down from C 7/2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That brings us to this note right here. This is going to be our F. It's the note right to the left of our group of 3 blue chips here. So F note, and the F is going to be our relative major key that C Mixolydian will be from. And realizing that it's 7/2 steps below, if we bring our C back down here, we have 5/2 steps above, or a fourth. So we know that this is going to be 5/2 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to that same F. Okay? Because 5 plus 7 equals 12, and there's 12/2 steps in an octave. So here we can simply play our F major scale starting on the note C, or the 5th degree of F, and that will achieve our Mixolydian mode. Or we can remember the pattern for Mixolydian modes as being the Aeolian inverse. Okay, so we have a whole step here, another whole step from here, and then our half step, and then 2 more whole steps. We have a whole step and a whole step, and now we're looking for the half step here, and then it's going to be a whole step from this note to our octave C, like this. That's going to give us our Mixolydian pattern for our C Mixolydian mode. Let's remove the chips that are not in our C Mixolydian scale. And you can see now that the pattern for Mixolydian in inverse coming down is going to be your Aeolian mode. So we're going to have whole, half, whole, half, whole, whole. Now the notes will not be the same, but the pattern is the same. So here we have the Mixolydian notes going up. You're left with the notes C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, a half step to B flat, and then a whole step to C. Okay, so those are going to be the notes of our C Mixolydian mode. Now here we can simply compare this to our C major scale, and we can tell with the one blue chip here that we have a C major scale with a flat 7 degree. And that flat 7 degree is going to be for all your Mixolydian modes. That's the designating factor of a Mixolydian mode, is it has this flat 7 note. So here our 7 of C is the B, would normally be B natural. It's been flatted to B flat. And here on our 4th degree is our F. Again, this was 5/2 steps from C, or 7 down, to F, which is our relative major. So if we move our F, these notes, down to this side, we have our F major scale like this. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, and E. If we were to number these scale degrees for our major mode, F would be 1, G is 2, A is 3, B flat is our 4th degree, C is the 5th. Again, the 5th degree was our Mixolydian degree. This is the Mixolydian mode we're going to be dealing with, the C Mixolydian. You're on the 5th degree of F. D is 6, and E will be 7. So it's important to remember these scale degrees. I recommend everyone number your Ionian mode scale degrees. So that you can remember when we move back to our Mixolydian position, we take root 2, 3, 4, scoot them down here, we're left with 4, 5, 6, 7 root, I'm sorry, we're left with, I didn't move enough, let's see, there. We're left with 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, and 4 from a relative measure, all right? F. F is going to be the root of our relative measure. So we'll have 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4. Okay, realizing that, we're on the 5th degree of F major. We can determine our triads of the Mixolydian mode. We have the 5, 7, 2 is going to be our first triad. 5, 7, 2 of our relative major. F here on the 4th degree. 5 of F here is going to be the C. 7 is E. And 2 is G. C, E, and G. 5, 7, 2 for our first triad of C Mixolydian. Our second triad is going to be these notes. 6 root 3, or D, F, and A, and that's minor. Here we have 7, 2, 4. Now the scale degrees 7, 2, 4 of any major scale are always diminished. So of F, we're going to have E, G, and B flat, which is a diminished triad, here on the 3rd position. Our 4th position, oh, this was our relative major, root 3rd and 5th of F, F, A, and C, which is major, on the 4th position, F, A, C. The 5 chord here is this, 2, 4, 6 scale degrees of F major, 2, 4, and 6, G, B flat, and D, which is minor. Your 5 chord in Mixolydian is going to be a minor triad. The 2, 2, 4, 6 minor. Okay, your 6th chord here is going to be 3, 5, and 7. Scale degrees 3, 5, and 7 of F, or A, C, and E. And that chord is also minor. You're on the 6th position, A, C, E. Again, our 7th chord here is going to be 4, 6, and root, which is a major triad. It's going to be the flat 7 major triad. Because of our flat 7th note, we're going to call that flat 7, or 4, 6 root of our relative measure, F. All right, B flat, D, F, which is major. And those are going to be the triads of our Lydian mode. Again, our qualities of the chords were major on the 1, minor, the 3 was diminished, our 4 is major, our 5 is minor, our 6 is minor, and our flat 7 is major for all of our Lydian mode, Mixolydian modes, Mixolydian. This is C Mixolydian. So we can also determine the 7th chords in the same way by using alternating scale tones. We're going to skip a note on each alternating note of our scale. We're going to add our extension of a 4th note here to make 7th chords on each scale degree. Again, the scale degree qualities will be largely similar, however there will be a few minor alterations. Here we have the 1 chord was our 5, 7, 2, 4. Now, if we've heard of those scale degrees before, we know that the 5 chord of all major keys is dominant. So our chord built on the 5th degree, here it's on the first position of Mixolydian, is a dominant. So 5, 7, 2, 4 of F is dominant. So it's going to be C, E, G, and B flat. A dominant 7 chord. 5, 7, 2, 4 of our relative major, F. Again, that chord will be on every first degree of a Mixolydian mode. It's going to be the dominant 7 chord for your 1 position. In this case, C, E, G, and B flat. A 4, 3, 3 spaced dominant 7 chord. And it's going to have a 1 plus 2 here and a 2 plus 1 here for its intervals on the minor thirds. 1 plus 2 and 2 plus 1 with a major third on the bottom. We have essentially a minor third atop a major triad. B flat, G to B flat is a minor third. 2 plus 1. These notes here. Okay. G to A is 2 half steps, and A to B flat is 1. So I'm calling that 2 plus 1 for these notes right here. Those are the notes that's built on from your scale. Again, it's a dominant 7 chord. Our second position chord was a 6 root 3 triad. We're going to add the 5th degree, 6 root 3 5 of relative major F. It's going to be D, F, A, and C. Again, 6 root 3 5 is a minor 7th chord, a 3 4 3 spacing. In this case, D, F, A, C. Again, it's going to have a 2 plus 1 spacing here between D and F, and a 1 plus 2 here between A and C. Because of the B flat, we have A to B flat is 1, and B flat to C is 2. So this is a 1 plus 2 interval for its minor third. Again, this would be the 6th chord of your relative major, here on the 2nd position of Mixolydian. Our 3rd position chord here is 7, 2, 4, 6. A relative major, E, G, B flat, and D. 7, 2, 4, 6 is always a half diminished 7 chord in all your major keys for those scale degrees. If you can remember the number 7, 2, 4, 6 is half diminished. It always is. Which is a 3, 3, 4 spacing, a major third here between B flat and D atop the diminished triad of the 7, 2, 4 degrees of F. In this case, we're looking at E, G, B flat, and D. Again, you're going to have a 1 plus 2 here and a 2 plus 1 interval here. Our 4th chord is the root 3, 5, 7 from our relative major, F, A, C, and E. Obviously, this is a major 7 chord. In this particular major 7, scale degrees match its chord degrees as well, which makes it pretty easy to remember. F, A, C, and E. Root 3, 5, 7 are also the scale degrees as well. F, A, C, and E. Again, it's a 4, 3, 4 spacing. It's going to have a 1 plus 2 interval for its minor third between these two notes, A and C. Our 5 chord is the 2, 4, 6 root minor 7th chord, G, B flat, D, and F. G, B flat, D, F is 2, 4, 6 root. It's a minor 7, a 3, 4, 3 spacing. It's going to have 2 plus 1 here and a 2 plus 1 here. Right? Even though it's the same quality as this minor 7th chord here, the intervals of its minor third are slightly different. The 6 has a 2 plus 1 and a 1 plus 2, and our 2 chord has a 2 plus 1 and a 2 plus 1. Alright, our 6th position chord here for Mixolydian was the 3-5-7-2 minor 7 chord, A, C, E, and G. It's a 3-4-3 spacing. It's going to have 1 plus 2s for its minor thirds. So again, these minor chords are all the same quality, minor 7, here, here, and here. However, this one has a 2 plus 1 and a 1 plus 2, this one has 2 plus 1, 2 plus 1, and this one has a 1 plus 2 and 1 plus 2. In this case, the 3-5-7-2 chord is from F, A, C, E, and G. Our flat 7 chord starts on the 4th degree, 4-6 root 3, B flat, D, F, and A. It's a major 7 chord, 4-3-4 spacing, with a 2 plus 1 here between the 6 and the root. B flat, D, D to F is, D to E is 2, and E to F is 1, 2 plus 1. Those are going to be your 7 chords of C Mixolydian. Let's talk about the inversions of these chords. All right, assuming our scale degrees don't change relative to the relative major, we're going to discuss now the spacing of the inversions of these chord qualities. Okay, so again, we had on the 1st degree, we have our dominant 7 chord, right? The 2nd degree was minor. Our 3rd degree is half diminished. Our 4th degree here is major 7. Our 5th is minor. Our 6th is minor. And our flat 7 is major 7. So here, our 1st degree, we have a dominant 7, C dominant, C, E, G, B flat, a 4-3-3 spacing. When we invert this, we have a 3-3-2 position, dominant 7 chord, starting on E, E, G, B flat, and C. Here we're going to have our 3-2-4, second inversion, dominant 7, G, B flat, C, E, to our 2-4-3 position, starting on B flat, C, E, and G. Coming down is G, E, C, B flat, E, C, B flat, G, C, B flat, G, E, and B flat, G, E, C, here for our first position chord of Mixolydian mode. Our second position was minor 7, D, F, A, C, a 3-4-3 spacing. Invert this, we have a 4-3-2 starting on F, F, A, C, and D, to a 3-2-3 spacing starting on A, C, D, F, to 2-3-4 starting on C, C, D, F, A. Coming down is A, F, D, C, F, D, C, A, D, C, A, F, and C, A, F, D. Here in the second position. Our third chord was half diminished, E, G, B flat, and D, a 3-3-4 spacing. We invert this, we have first inversion, half diminished chord is a 3-4-2 starting on G, G, B flat, D, and E. Second inversion, we have a 4-2-3 position, B flat, D, E, and G, to our 2-3-3 inversion, half diminished, starting on D, D, E, G, and B flat. Coming down is B flat, G, E, D, G, E, D, B flat, E, D, B flat, G, and D, B flat, G, E, fourth position chord was the relative major, F, A, C, E, a 4-3-4 spacing. The first inversion is a 3-4-1 position starting on A, C, E, F, to our 4-1-4 starting on C, E, F, A, to a 1-4-3 starting on E, F, A, C. Coming down is C, A, F, E, A, F, E, C, F, E, C, A, and E, C, A, F. F major 7. Our 5 chord again in Mixolydian is minor. Here it's G, B flat, D, F. A 3-4-3 spacing. To invert this, we have a 4-3-2 starting on B flat, D, F, G, to our 3-2-3. I'm sorry, no, that's correct. 3-2-3 starting on D, F, G, B flat, to our 2-3-4 position starting on D. I'm sorry, starting on F. F, G, B flat, and D. Coming down is D, B flat, G, F, B flat, G, F, D, G, F, D, B flat, and F, D, B flat, G. Our 6th position chord was also minor 7. A, C, E, and G. A 3-4-3 spacing. A minor 7. We invert this, we have a 4-3-2 starting on C, E, G, A. To a 3-2-3 starting on E, G, A, C. To our 2-3-4 starting on G, A, C, E. Coming down is E, C, A, G, C, A, G, E, A, G, E, C, and G, E, C, A. And finally, our 7th position chord, our flat 7, was a major 7, B flat, D, F, and A, 4-3-4. And we invert the B flat major 7. We have a 3-4-1 starting on D, F, A, B flat. A 4-1-4 starting on F, A, B flat, D. To a 1-4-3 starting on A, B flat, D, F. Coming down is F, D, B flat, A, D, B flat, A, F, B flat, A, F, D, and A, F, D, B flat. Those are going to be the chords of C Mixolydian. We had a C dominant 7, D minor 7, E half diminished 7, F major 7, a G minor 7, A minor 7, and a flat 7, B flat major 7. And those are your chords of C Mixolydian mode.